Good evening. It's wonderful to see everyone here. I'll call to order the meeting of the Bristol, Tennessee Board of Education on April the 16th, 2018. We'll establish that we have a quorum. We have all members present. Next, we would like to have Pledge of Allegiance. That will be led tonight by students from Anderson Elementary, Josiah Anderson, Jaden Booker, Brianna Harden, and Gwenny Harmon, who were also state choir winners from Anderson Elementary. All right, I am missing a name, so tell me whose name I don't have. Sierra Roberts. Okay, thank you very much. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. All right, next we'll have our consent items to be adopted and approved. First are the minutes from the March 19th, 2018 regular meeting of the Board of Education. Also, the financial reports that were reviewed at our work session last week. There are also reports of surplus and obsolete items from each of the schools that we will list for sale. May I have a motion to approve the agenda items?
I so move.
Thank you.
A second.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Ms. Jenkins?
Chair Harrison?
Yes.
Mr. Butcher?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pyle?
Yes.
Secretary Welch?
Yes.
Mr. Linkus?
Yes.
Thank you. And for the fun part of the night, and we have several fun parts, we will have student recognitions tonight. First, we will recognize the school spelling bee winners, and as I understand, our principals have items ready to hand out to our winners. From Anderson Elementary in 5th grade, we have Mackenzie Davis. And if y'all would come up here, we're going to take pictures once everyone comes up. Then from Avoca, 3rd grade, is it Cara Shepard or Kara? Kara Shepard. All right. Then from 6th grade at Fairmount, Aiden Arnett. All right. From 6th grade, we have Haynesfield, Keely Cantor. All right, if everybody will stand up here. And 4th grade, Holston View, Owen Smith. And from 8th grade Vance, JJ Trinidad. These are your school spelling bee winners for this year. Congratulations. Thank you very much. And now we are moving on to the Vance Geography Bee. And from 7th grade, the winner this year was Alex Jones. Oh. Well, congratulations to Alex. Next, we have the Vance Oratorical Contest winners. In 7th grade, Chris Wilson. And from 8th grade, Dakota Teamer. All right, and we need a picture. If y'all move to the center, please. I do not want to be in these pictures. All right. Congratulations. And next, from Tennessee High School, we will recognize our Health Occupation Students of America Regional Leadership Conference winners. First, from 11th grade, first place, clinical nursing, Tori Doss. 11th grade, first place, CPR and first aid, Kendra Brent. 11th grade, first place, CPR and first aid, Cameron Harkerode. Trying to lead out of the picture. Congratulations, Cameron. Also, another group of Health Occupation Students of America's State Leadership Conference. Kendra Brent, 11th grade, second place CPR and first aid. Cameron Harkerode, come on down, 11th grade, second place CPR and first aid. First, we're recognizing regional winners. These are state winners. Alexis Terrell, 12th grade, second place clinical specialty. And also 12th grade, Dema Woods, second place, medical terminology. Congratulations. Also from Tennessee High School, we have our Technology Student Association Regional Competition winners, and taking first place in the VEX Robotics, 12th grade Andrew Alley, 10th grade Kendall Brooks, 11th grade Dacia Davis, did I say that correctly? Deja, thank you. 9th grade Micah Jones, and 12th grade Austin Kinser. So congratulations. Wait, don't move. You got to get your picture made.
Way to represent the team, Ken.
That's right. Congratulations. Thank you. It's very exciting on nights we get to recognize students and their accomplishments. Next, we are going to have a hearing of our delegates. First, we are going to have students who attended the Tennessee School Boards Association Student Congress on Policies in Education, and this was the SCOPE conference. And if you don't mind, would you introduce everyone for us?
I would be glad to.
Thank you.
I want to. Thank you. I just want to tell you, each year the Tennessee School Board Association invites students from all across the state to meet and talk about very important issues in education. Things that you do every day, we got to do for one day, and it was exciting, mainly because the students this year especially were just so involved, and it's never too early to become servants of the public, and it's wonderful to just see their enthusiasm. So we got to meet at MTSU, and we got to, it's sort of the midpoint in the state, so students even from Memphis and all over got to meet and discuss these important issues. And now I know that I want to honor them with the Certificate of Achievement. We've got Alexis Terrell, Parker Mann, Joseph M., and Allie Fry. And we just wanted to thank the board because it was a terrific trip. Everything from the hotel to just the whole experience was wonderful. And Penny, your organization skills were appreciated too. So thank you so much.
And next from Anderson Elementary School, we will hear from our Heroes in Action.
some rock stars at Anderson Elementary, and I'm going to start this evening by introducing the teachers that will share this presentation with you. Our work has been focused on leading and learning to impact our world. So if you'll give me just a moment, I'm going to ask all, thank you, of our teacher leaders to stand up with me. I want to introduce each individual to you, and Colin, if you'll help us there with our technology. So teacher leader is a strategic part of our district plan in Bristol, and the teacher leaders that serve at Anderson are going to provide evidence of what that leadership has looked like at the school level, the state level, and the national level this year. We are really excited to share that the teachers you see before you have impacted practice in over 27 states and 13 countries. So let me introduce them to you. Allison Quickle, Jenny Dyer, Colleen Simonis, Autumn Rowe. Autumn is our new addition this year as an art instructor. We have Larissa Compton, Rachel Boyd, Whitney Davis, Read to Be Ready, and Miss Rhonda Shaver that is with us as well, who's a technology specialist and trainer. You can have a seat. Thank you. So when we talk about reaching amazing moments and serving at Anderson this year, what we would like to do is spotlight for you what that work looks like in action with our students. We're going to demonstrate for you several different mediums of technology in action. This year we had the opportunity to really focus our work to develop a respectful culture in our building. You'll notice on the back of our shirts, it says, "Teaching is my superpower." And our theme has been Hero Educators all year. We also celebrate our students, and our vision is Hero Students. So I want to give you some evidence of what that looks like in practice and share with you that we received a Model Demonstration School Award this year. 300 schools applied for this designation. 30 were chosen, 2 of those in Bristol, Tennessee. And we are very proud of that work. Mrs. Quickle is going to share for you what that looks like.
Hi, I'm Allison Quickle. I'm a reading intervention teacher at Anderson, an academic coach, and I also serve on our leadership team at Anderson. So I would like to take a moment and just reflect on the ongoing progress that we have at Anderson to improve on our school-wide behavior expectations. As a leadership team, we decided we needed consistent and explicit behavior expectations taught to all of our students from preschool to 6th grade. So first, we created a voice level system that Ms. Rowe has to be used by all of our students in all areas of our school. We created school-wide expectations and placed those on posters to be displayed throughout the school. Ms. Boyd has those. These expectations are taught through detailed Believe in Me lesson plans after every break we have. So anytime our students come back from the summer, come back from any holiday break, spring break, these lesson plans are taught and retaught to reteach how to behave in all areas of the school. Last year, we created a color card system that Ms. Boyd has to be used in all grade levels. So students would receive a green card if they need a break due to being off task or a stress break. They may also receive a blue card in the classroom, which is just another nonverbal warning for off-task behavior. Their warnings can transition to a yellow card for an office referral or a purple card for removal from the classroom setting. But we just believe that our leadership team's tremendous vision has led us to constantly evaluate and reevaluate our approach to our school climate, all while creating a wonderful learning opportunity for our students. So this year, we were graciously recognized as a model of demonstration school by the University of Tennessee for our progress in RTI 2B.
If you will notice on the pictures, you'll see Bristol City Schools is proudly displayed there. Now, I want to talk about innovation with scheduling. This summer, every teacher at Anderson met with myself and Mrs. McRee so that we could make sure we were providing some innovation in our educational program in Rams time. We worked together to develop a schedule that would provide some new opportunities for our students. And Ms. Compton is going to talk with you and Mrs. Shaver about what that looks like in action for 2nd through 6th graders.
Last year, we found that one of the needs that we had during our RTI classes was for some type of enrichment classes. We only had a handful of students in each grade that were ready for that enrichment class at the beginning of the year, but that handful really needed it. So we got together and started talking, and in 2nd grade, and I believe you do 3rd grade too, 2nd and 3rd grade, Mrs. Shaver teaches a STEM class during RTI time, and I do the 4th and 5th grade along with Miss Melanie Crane. And then we also added an art class when Miss Rowe came. We have Miss Simones for a music class along with Miss Boyd. And they are able to kind of choose which classes they go to. We did decide that there was a need for a creative writing class, which we started 9 weeks ago. And Miss Knapp is teaching a creative writing class now. So now they have all of these choices that they are able to choose during our 45-minute intervention time. In the STEM classes, we have used the VEX robotics. There's a picture of Tyler Coates with the scratch coding, which we have been learning in the 4th and 5th grade classes. Josiah here has also done it as well, and Sierra. We have also used the Lego robotics, and we have integrated the writing in with all of the STEM. And did you want to talk about the STEM and design camp right now?
Yes, and then let Mrs. Shaver show you what that looks like.
Okay. And then last year, we had our first annual STEM design camp at Anderson. It was a huge success, and I already have students constantly coming up. So when's the next one? When are we getting the permission forms? Parents have been writing letters already. They are so excited for the second one. We allowed up to 50 students, and these were rising 4th, 5th, and 6th graders last year, to come in just for a 4-day design camp at the end of the year. This was right after school ended, and it was from 8 to 12:30, and they rotated through 3 different classes, and one of them was, I did the VEX robotics class, then they did a STEM class where they got to do engineering or some type of a challenge that they had to go through. We had a team class where they had to actually use teamwork to solve some type of a problem. We had challenges for them. And they really enjoyed it. And we have decided this year that we are going to extend that, and we are going to have 2nd and 3rd graders now joining us. So we're expanding that. So we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be the week after school gets out.
We've also initiated an amazing shake camp this year, and that's to teach our children how to shake a hand with an adult, how to interview, debate, how to set a table using fine china, and then how to eat spaghetti on fine china. And so Mrs. Quickle and Mrs. Johnson are leading that work, and that will occur in May, and all of that's by application. Mrs. Shaver is going to talk with us about computer science and coding.
As Larissa had mentioned, we did start in enrichment classes this year, at a computer science class for 2nd and 3rd graders. And coding was one of the things that I was teaching with them. It took a lot of different, we looked at it in a different lens, and mostly problem solving. I wanted to show you a couple of pictures of it in action. We learned vocabulary for coding. One of the words we were working on was persistence, and the 2 pictures that you see on the left, they were given a STEM challenge to learn persistence. They had a popsicle stick, they had small miniature marshmallows, and toothpicks, and they had to create a structure that would support a book without falling down. And so the fellas that you see there were our actual winners, and they learned persistence through, it took them 3 days to come up with the project, but they never gave up. And that's what coding is all about, because coding is a lot of problem solving. You try something, it doesn't work, you have to keep going back and going back. Then we moved into beginning coding with B-bots, and we use that across curriculum. It's kind of hard to see, but those are actually multiplication facts. So they are learning to code the robot to get to the correct answer for their multiplication. And then lastly, we moved on up to our dot and dash robots that you see on the bottom, and they learned to code those. And again, those are used across curriculum as well. And that was a lot of fun for them, and they're going to be participating this year in our design camp, so I know they're going to be excited about that. We also, this year in my class, worked on some project-based learning, and in economics, our economics unit, we decided to create a product that the students had to create from scratch. They had to research the cost of that. They had to prepare a budget for it, and they had to design a logo. They had to come up with a commercial, a way to sell that product. And they were divided into teams, and this is just 2 of our teams. And so the first team, they had chosen to sell tie-dye t-shirts, and it was also based off of literature where we had read a story and studied about a principal who had helped raise money with kids for a new playground at their school. And so the kids decided that they wanted to raise money for an outdoor classroom at our school. So that's what they were working towards, and this was our first little team, our tie-dye team, and this was totally student created. They did their wording, their actions, everything. So you can go ahead and play that one. Can you hit that again since we got some sound?
Can you hit source search again?
Sure.
This is actually an excellent opportunity to demonstrate how you model staying calm when you're in a presentation. But I have to say, and Mrs. Shaver is going to demonstrate augmented reality at the end of this. When we were training at FETC, which is the Future of Education Technology Conference, so we had administrators in one session, and then we had teachers in a different session, and we are trainers, and we're troubleshooting technology challenges. But what we continue to say to the administrators and teachers, this is the work. When we're doing personalized learning, we're going to encounter challenges with technology on certain days and times, and what does that look like when you have to solve in the immediate, in that moment, with students that you are teaching? And so what you see demonstrated here today is really just a great example of sometimes what it looks like in a classroom. And when students are figuring out how to find a solution to technology challenges, even when they come early and set up and practice.
I believe you should buy our tie-dye t-shirts because it's cool and it looks like rainbow. And they're only $3. You should buy them for the tie-dye team. Tie-dye team!
This was also their first attempt at using a green screen, so that was neat to create these. This team is our Team Fluffy Galaxy, and they created fluffy slime to sell. So.
Fluffy slime? I know that slime.
It's time for fluffy slime. It's time for fluffy slime. Hey guys, guess what's new for fluffy slime? This slime is out of this world. It goes pop, pop, pop. It's under $4, and it's so stretchy.
That's the logo they created to go with it as well. I'm gonna let you go on down. I can't see. No, we'll do that one last. I think that might be all. We're going to be looking at some augmented reality here at the very end with this slide and the next one coming up.
So to give you a preview of what that looks like in action as Mrs. Quickle is coming up. Will it click there?
Got the finger.
It's got the finger.
Looks good.
So when you consider that we are creating students to learn and understand technology for jobs that don't exist today, these are the type of experiences that bring them into that dimension. And Mrs. Shaver, when she was training the teachers, they were looking at this for the first time, what we have access to in Bristol City, how we prepare our children for jobs that don't exist today, 10 years from now, is evidenced in the creative thinking and problem solving and expertise that we see in these classrooms. My son wants to be a pilot. He's going to be a senior at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. He has to take an exam that is on a computer, paper, pencil, and he has to take an exam where he will use the joystick, to be able, in a simulation in real time, give evidence that he can do exactly what you just saw here. That's why we do what we do with our students. And I cannot say enough about the national impact that this team has had as a result of teacher leadership and your support this year. And I'm going to be still and let Mrs. Quickle talk about what published authors look like.
So my reading classes this year took on a journey. We began writing narrative pieces in August, and by the end of the fall, they were dying to let other people see their writing a little bit more. So I said, well, let's publish a book. They're like, nah, we can't do that. I was like, yeah, we can. So they published a book, and all their favorite short stories that they wrote that went through the writing process are in a hardbound book that they will all soon own. And Mrs. Rowe made a video to kind of give you a little bit about our published authors in action.
My name's Brianna Harden, and the story I'm going to read is Christina's birthday party. It was July 4th, 2017, and it was midday. There was a 4th of July parade and my friend Christina's birthday party. So I was in a rock and a hard place. It was a tough decision. I had to compare both of them. It was either go with my family to the parade or spend time with my best friend and celebrate when she was born. So I was trying to come up with the idea to make this so I could go to both of them. And I was so frustrated, I said to myself, why did this have to happen to me today? Why couldn't her birthday be on the 5th of July instead of the 4th of July? Or the 4th of July be on the 5th of July? But then suddenly my phone had just dinged, and I got a text from Christina, and it said, "We are instead, your family is coming to my house, and we're going to have a birthday/parade cookout." Then I said, "Oh," so I felt upset for no reason. Then they came to my house and celebrated with us, and I had the best time of my life. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Don't complain.
Oh.
My story is about a girl, and she goes to the library, and she found a magazine about, like, how to make rockets, and so she decides to make a rocket for her brother, and she's up all night making it, and the next morning she lies to her parents because she says she's sick, but she's actually really tired. And then whenever she goes to school, the other next day, her friend tells her not to lie, and she tells her, when in doubt, tell the truth. And so, when she got home from school, she went to her parents, and she told her about the lie, and she gave her brother the rocket.
Well, I started when he was just a little boy and sitting at the tree. And as he grew up, he needed more and more stuff from the tree, and the tree would give it to him and let him use whatever he got from it.
That's great. About this girl, she gets bullied, and another girl who oftentimes gets bullied helps her along the way, and then they become friends. It's kind of weird because I don't really know what people would think of my writing, but I'm also kind of proud.
Awesome, Jaden.
You guys to read it. There's a lot of good stories. Like, we've got maybe 20 others besides mine, so I encourage everybody to read it.
Gwenny Harmon wants to make sure you get to hear her awesome story. Okay.
Okay. Maya Anderson was the most popular kid at school, maybe even the district, because she was the captain of all the sport teams at her school, and every time those teams played, they would win. It was the end of soccer season and the beginning of basketball season when Maya got a call from the coach of the high school basketball team. Although Maya was only in middle school, he compared her to a lot of the other coaches, and she by far had the best looking application. This was Maya's dream come true. Plus, she would get to miss mid-period, so she was pretty pumped about that. The next day at school, she was so excited to tell her friends about what happened, but something stopped her. Bryson Henderson. They had known each other ever since preschool, but they never really talked to each other. He asked her a question that changed her opinion of him forever. "Hey, Maya, I was wondering if you could go to the winter dance with me," he said, shaking nervously. Maya responded with shock. "Really? Well, sure, I guess. Thanks for asking, pal," she said. She slapped him on the back. Maya always saw Bryson as a quiet, solitary kind of guy, so she figured why not. At the end of her day, her mom came to pick her up. at school. Maya was about to tell her mom what happened at school, but just then she remembered her first practice as an assistant coach was the same night as the winter dance. And if Maya didn't show up, they would replace her. She was between a rock and a hard place. Maya whined and whined when she got home, but her mom told her a quote that really helped. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Maya realized what she had to do. The next day, Maya told Bryson everything, and they agreed to do something another time, like go get pizza or something.
Okay, I have one more student request.
Why don't you read your first paragraph, Mrs. Sure.
Okay, so right, I'll let you know. Okay. Firestar was a warrior and a mentor to Willow Paw, a pure white she-cat with unusually blue eyes. I just now literally lost my place. He loved her one day, and as he knew she loved forest as much as him. One day he told her, "We're going to explore the whole forest." She complained, "But that would be like finding the needle in a haystack. I want to learn to fight."
Okay, I'm Whitney Davis. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Anderson Elementary, an academic coach, and also on the leadership team. And I'm going to talk to you guys about our the Read to Be Ready campaign that was launched in 2016 by Governor and First Lady Haslam and Commissioner McQueen. The Read to Be Ready campaign is really to get, the goal was to move 75% of third grade students to be reading proficiently by 2025. And Anderson's taking their part, the district is taking their part by starting early. So early literacy truly, truly matters. My heart is definitely on early childhood for sure. So this is how Anderson is doing it. So it's never too late. So if students are falling behind, we are going to grab them where they are at and keep pushing them to get them where they need to go. And like I said, early literacy matters. So we're going to start in those lower grades, pre-K, kindergarten. Reading is more than just sounding out words. It's thinking deeply about the meaning and building knowledge with the world around us. Teacher knowledge and practice are critical. Educators, all of us are still learning. I went to Read to Be Ready camps myself with other teachers in the district as well. And we, every day we are also learners or leaders. And it takes a community. And as you know, we have our reading buddies, and we see every day the community coming in and helping us, and our teachers helping us throughout the community. In the summer, we do a Read to Be Ready summer camp. Last year was our first year. We applied for a grant, and we got it, and we got it again this summer. So, and it's actually expanding, so we're super excited about that. But these are some pictures from our camp last summer. It's kindergarten through second grade. They come each day. We focus on a specialized theme for the summer. Last year, it was gardening and planting. So through it was 6 weeks or five. Through the 5 weeks, we focused on a certain story. We do what's called interactive read-alouds, where we kind of dig deep into the book and let the students kind of drive their learning a little bit with vocabulary, and they build onto it. I'm sorry, I have notes. So the students they engage in the text. They're listening to it. They are reading it with us. They're thinking. They're talking about it, and they're also writing. We're reading complex texts with them every day. We're stretching their literacy skills while they're building their knowledge, and their vocabulary is becoming deeper and richer through the interactive read alouds that I was talking about. We're discussing the text. This is supporting and strengthening their writing. And with their writing, with us, we're modeling and having interactive writing and shared writing to teaching the foundational literacy skills systematically.
Very proud of you. Great job. Mrs. Simonis and Mrs. Boyd, if you'll come up, and if our treble state choir winners will come up, and Mrs. McCree, if you'll stand. Mrs. McCree used to be Mrs. Clark. She got married. And she's been a huge support for RTI to be in the building. And we're going to transition. I'm going to let Mrs. Simonis talk to you about what it looks like to represent the state of Tennessee in 4 of only 150 spots for students. We're a little bit proud of these kids and what they did this weekend.
Hi. Yeah, we want to recognize these guys. I'm so glad that they could come tonight. Music is so important. Music matters so much. The fine arts matter so much. I know that everybody knows here by now that students that spend a significant amount of time studying the arts do better in everything else, always, time after time, study after study. So it's really near and dear to my heart. And I'm so thankful to work in a school system that encourages and supports the fine arts. And this year with our schedule, we are able to have RTI classes that focused on things like music, which I was super excited about. I only usually get to see my students once a week for 45 minutes. But we had this small group now that we got to see every single day. And Miss Boyd is a 4th grade teacher, but she's also an amazing bluegrass fiddle player. So we were lucky enough to be able to co-teach this class, which has been so fun. We've done lots of things fine arts based. We've played Orff instruments, the little bell instruments you might remember from elementary school, and done all kinds of orchestrations with those. We've sung a lot. We've written some plays and produced some music videos and done lots of fun stuff. But when this year started, the Tennessee Music Educators Association has a state conference in Nashville every year, and they have state ensembles, all-state band, all-state choir, all-state orchestra, and students audition for these and then come together and play, and they're very high honor ensembles. But there's also one for elementary age students. And when we got this class, I thought, oh, we could have some students try this. So it's for 5th and 6th graders across the state, and we spent our first 9 weeks in our RTI class learning the music needed to audition for that. And we just thought we'd give it a try and see what happens. We had 10 students that actually decided to go through the audition process, and I was so proud of every one of them because it was quite overwhelming. Mr. Whitson, the choir director at the high school, was very kind to come down on his own time with his own equipment and record all of us, which was really fun. We felt like we were in a music studio and got to record our auditions. And then we had to wait until November. And then in November, we found out that we had 4 students that had actually been selected to go to the all-state treble choir. And Gwenny Harmon and Jaden Booker and Josiah Anderson were 3 of those students. Brianna Harden, you see, was the first one that read her story on the video. She has a fever tonight, but yeah, so we were disappointed. But these 4 students worked so hard and were able to go this past weekend is when it finally happened. And I have to thank Miss Boyd because I've been on medical leave, and Miss Boyd completely got them ready. She spent the last several weeks during RTI making sure that they knew their music and they were ready to go. And their families were so awesome. All 4 of their families got them all the way to Nashville and were there for them and supported them. And they came in on Saturday and had a rehearsal with 175 students from all across the state of Tennessee. They told us several times during the process, and then I know they told you guys at the beginning of rehearsal on Saturday how much honor they should feel for being a part of this ensemble, because they said it was a very rough year. Remember that? They said it was really hard to get in this year because they had a lot of really good students apply. So we're just so proud of them. They practiced for 4 hours on Saturday, a little loopy by the end. And then we got to do that at the Opryland Hotel, so that was super fun. And then the next morning we got up and performed a concert at the State Music Educators Conference for a standing room only room. There was every seat was taken. There were people lined up like this across both walls to hear them sing, and they were amazing. So I would just love to take a second to honor them and recognize that achievement. And again, thanks so much for working in a school system that recognizes the value of the arts and how important they are and what they can do for our students.
Great job. We're going to finish up with a little bit of augmented reality, and the piece that you saw a little bit earlier with the little things flying around from the coloring sheet, that is actually called augmented reality, where you take any kind of object and you just make it come to life. And we use that particular the particular one that you saw as a writing prompt, and the students got to choose their sheet and they colored it and created a story, a narrative story based off of that prompt, and that was their illustration. And needless to say, it brought a little bit of excitement into writing that maybe wasn't there before. We're going to show you a couple more pieces of augmented reality before we close. This one is a story that we had started. I actually used it for some background knowledge to something that I was teaching. And this one, to build the background knowledge, we were reading the story of the tortoise and the hare, because the hare is a character in the next story, and you had to understand that he had lost a race to the tortoise before they could really understand the current story. And so the students chose their own character, either the hare or the tortoise, and then we just made it come to life. So. So there is this student's hair, and if you'll notice, all the colors are the same from the background. We can interact with him, make him wave at you and do some fun little things. We have to stay on the trigger to keep him active, but yeah, he's going to show off now. But so this was a fun way to introduce this part of literature to them, and the same would be the same with the character of the hare, of the tortoise, but we're kind of running low on time, and then we'll show you a couple others. I've used if you want to go to either one of those right there. We've used this in writing, and we've used this with reading, but also you can use this augmented reality in science, social studies, math. I have a mental math one that I use. For older grades, there's anatomy, which is really amazing. They can hold a human heart in their hand and explore it. Chemistry, they can put two different chemicals together and see what happens with that. And then there's also several advanced ones that my second graders aren't ready for yet, but it's nice that they're there. This one is when we were studying plant life and plant structures, living things. I need about 10 more hands. Okay, so there's the plant.
That's pretty cool.
So you can get it back on here. You can turn the plant. You can see the root system, the stems. You can see all the parts of the plant. And on with this app too, they can start a plant from scratch, and they have to take care of it and watch it grow. So. And then we'll do one more. So that's a science one. This next one is actually for math. And for my kids, geometry is a little difficult for them when they have to look at a three-dimensional shape on a flat piece of paper. And they have to imagine what's on the back side of that shape to count the sides and the vertices. So I found this app, and it's been very helpful for them to explore the different sides of that as well. So just to start with, just with the app, we can count the sides this way, we can turn it, actually see all sides and all the vertices of it. But if we want to take it a little further and go into the 3D mode, then we can pull it up here, and it works the same way. We can unfold it and go it that way.
That's cool.
And so it's just really neat that they have that option, and it's a fun way to learn. So that's a little bit of augmented reality.
So we really do deeply appreciate your time. I know we took a little bit longer tonight, but we had a lot to shout out about at Anderson this year. So I appreciate your patience, and I deeply appreciate the support of the board and Dr. Lilly, our supervisors, because without that support, you know, every week you're in there reading with our students and supporting that initiative and believing in our work. And this year has been a special year at Anderson, and we have a lot to celebrate, but that only happens because of the incredible students that we have in our building. And we are so proud of our Rams, and I want to thank you tonight for allowing us to share some of their great experiences, because they will remember this for the rest of their lives. And we're dream makers. Tomorrow, we're going to give shirts to all our kids. We hold up the back that says #HeroStudents, because as we start TN Ready, we're going to celebrate our children in real time. So I want to wish everybody a great luck for that. It's all the best. It's a time to celebrate what we've learned. What do we say, Sierra? It's time to shine, correct? We're just going to show off everything we've learned all year in the next 3 weeks. So thank you so much for your time.
I wish he'd had
Well, it's
the
very
3D
exciting
stuff
to
in the
learn about the wonderful
tracking
things that you have
classes.
going on at Anderson. And so thank you to the parents for supporting your students, and thank you to the educators. You're dedicated and it shows. So thank you very much. Anybody else, board members, anything you'd like to add?
I'm still floored.
I'm very impressed. Great job. I really like the total involvement you have in your school, your staff, and it's a unified effort, and it's very clear, and I think it will make a significant difference in your students and our community. Thank you very much.
All right, moving on. Next on the agenda, we have comments from the public. Ms. Craddock, have we had anyone sign up? All right. Moving on, we have new business. We have a few items to cover. The first is the summer school proposal for both Vance Middle School and Tennessee High. Am I correct about that?
Yes.
I thought so. This comes before us every year to approve. We discussed this in work session on Thursday. Do I have a motion to approve the summer school proposal?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Jenkins?
Mr. Butcher,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pyle,
Yes.
Chair Harrison,
Yes.
Secretary Welch,
Yes.
Mr. Linkus.
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have the contract with our architect for Vance Middle School. And I'm going to qualify all this by saying we have not put anything in stone. We are simply going into a contract with the architect in order to look at plans for the school. We're anticipating questions about where is it going to be, and what's it going to, how big is it going to be, and what's it going to look like. We don't know yet, but we're getting there. So I need a motion to approve the architect's contract for Vance Middle School.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Ms. Jenkins?
Mr. Butcher,
Yes.
Secretary Welch,
Yes.
Chair Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Linkus,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pyle.
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is approval of special courses. This is an approval that we have to do on an annual basis now that the rules have changed. This is for the approval of special course applications for mythology and etymology and peer tutoring at Tennessee High School. We reviewed this on Thursday during the work session. Do I have a motion to approve the special courses?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the special courses identified? Ms. Jenkins?
Chair Harrison,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pyle,
Yes.
Mr. Butcher,
Yes.
Mr. Linkus,
Yes.
Secretary Welch.
Yes.
Thank you. Item D is the textbook adoption recommendation, which initially surprised me at the number of books on there, but as I understand and have learned from the work session, we approve everything and then we pick what we want. So I would like a motion to approve the textbook adoption recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second on the textbook adoption recommendation. Is there any discussion? Ms. Jenkins?
Mr. Linkus?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pyle?
Yes.
Secretary Welch?
Yes.
Mr. Butcher?
Yes.
Chair Harrison?
Yes. And the last item that we have under new business are approval of certain policies on first reading. We discussed these at the work session last week. Basically, these are revisions to current policies to bring them in line with changes that have been enacted by the legislature or brought down by the State Board of Education. And I think all of them have been listed. Do I have a motion to approve the policies on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the identified policies? Thank you. Ms. Jenkins?
Mr. Linkus?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pyle?
Yes.
Secretary Welch?
Yes.
Chair Harrison?
Yes.
Mr. Butcher?
Aye.
Thank you. Dr. Lilly?
Yes. So this has been a great board meeting. I always enjoy the time for recognitions of student accomplishments, and our students are very talented. But of course, that doesn't just happen. That's under the direction of dedicated teachers, and to see all the wonderful things going on in our schools is really awesome. So thank you all, and congratulations to all of our students. This is the week that we do TN Ready testing, and I have been bemoaning the weather that required us to cancel school today. Interestingly enough, we may have caught a break because of that, though. We are doing electronic testing at the middle and high school levels, and the state had some problems with the testing platform this morning. So supposedly it's not a bandwidth issue, and they had it fixed by like midday. So there have been just a ton of messages back and forth across the state about that issue. So believe it or not, it actually may have worked to our advantage. I'm trying to look for a silver lining about the weather. The testing is very important to not only our students, but also to our teachers and to the entire district, and parents can certainly help with that by making sure that their children get plenty of rest and eat a good breakfast, and to the extent possible, schedule appointments around the test would be very helpful. Kindergarten and preschool registration are coming up this week, actually, on Thursday, and that will be at all of our elementary schools from 3:30 to 6, and we ask that parents bring children to their home school to register. If a child is going to be 5 years old on or before August 15th, then they're eligible for kindergarten, and 4 years old for preschool. And we've got lots of information about what to bring to that registration on the website, so parents can check the website for more details. Finally, it is our 6th year for Power of Play 5K, and that is something that we do as a partnership with Bristol, Virginia Public Schools and the Bristol Regional Medical Center, and specifically the Ballad Health CVA Heart Institute, and we split the proceeds from that with both school districts to help support PE initiatives. We're very proud because we have expanded the after-school run clubs to all of the elementary schools, and that has really resulted in lots of additional registrations for this Power of Play 5K. Last year, I think we had 75 students who signed up for the race, and keep in mind we're a couple of weeks away from it. It's going to be Saturday, April 28th at 9 a.m. And at this point, we've got 200 students signed up. So we're really, really happy with that and expect more to sign up. So that's really cool. So board members, you are invited to come walk, run, watch, or help me give out waters. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Lilly. And I do not believe we have anyone here from City Council. Comments for the board?
Well, I couldn't help but notice, super duper crowd tonight. Really happy that we had such a great program, and it's always nice to have a lot of students because it brings out people. But if my math's correct, and it generally is pretty close, at one time there's at least 65 folks here. The thing that caught my attention, there was at least 15 of the folks here that are either graduates or have a connection to Tennessee High School as being graduates, and that's almost 20%. So I'm proud that we're keeping folks coming along and keeping folks in our system, and I'll pledge for our board that we will continue to do everything we can to supply the resources and facilities to make sure our kids are college and career ready. So thank you all.
Anyone else? Thank you very much. It was a wonderful meeting tonight, and we appreciate your part in it. Our next regular board meeting is May the 21st at 6 p.m. We hope you'll join us then. We're adjourned. Thank you.